Reasons the US gives for getting involved in the SCS dispute. 1. To defend China's smaller neighbors and stop Chinese expansionism. 2. Freedom of navigation. Are they believable? China the bully and expansionist? China does not have a history of bullying its smaller neighbors or expansionism. Even when it possessed the most powerful navy in the world, it did not sail around to claim sovereignty of foreign lands, only to exchange gifts with them.
Zheng He's first voyage lasted from 1405 to 1407. He traveled west to many towns and ports in India, trading and establishing diplomatic relations. Word of the fleet and Zheng He's heroism spread as he sailed on 6 more voyages. In 1413, he traveled all the way to the Arabian Peninsula and around the Horn of Africa. Along the way, he visited more than 25 countries and returned to China with exotic creatures like giraffes and camels that few in China, if any, had ever seen. His voyages solidified Chinese trade and political dominance from northeastern China to southeastern Africa, even bringing foreign diplomats to meet with the Chinese emperor.
American expansionism in comparison. The US, however, has been a notorious expansionist nation since its beginning. It expanded from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast and then across the whole Pacific to Asia. American expansionism is no ordinary expansionism. It is driven by the religious belief of manifest of destiny. Underlying this is the Americans' belief that theirs is a nation under God and it is God's will that the US expands, and expands, and expands. That's the manifest of American destiny. Americans' expansionism is driven by religious extremism.
Manifest destiny was a 19th century belief in the United States that it was destined to expand its territory and spread its values across North America. Coined in 1845 by journalist John O'Sullivan, who argued that it was America's God-given mission to spread its influence and democratic ideals, Manifest Destiny was used to justify territorial expansion, particularly the annexation of Texas and the Mexican-American War. Fueled by a combination of economic, political, and religious motives, as well as a sense of American exceptionalism, Manifest Destiny played a major role in the settlement and development of the American West. Manifest Destiny also established a national justification for imperialism and the exploitation of Native American lands, which has had a profound impact on American history and continues to shape the country's cultural identity today.
No freedom of navigation in the SCS. Freedom of navigation has never been a problem for the SCS until the US created one. Before this, trading vessels of all sorts can use the SCS freely without any restriction. It is one of the busiest sea passages in the world for commerce and trade. But the US upsets it all by sailing in its navy. Once that happened, it's no more freedom of navigation. It becomes might makes right navigation. Now the nation with the mightiest navy will decide who has the right to sail freely through the sea. And that's the US. Freedom of navigation within a sovereign's territory without its permission is intrusion. That's more like US expansionism.